in game 2 of a doubleheader, Jose Ramirez and his theatrical bat flip got the Twins pretty riled up. We saw the emotion and the passion that are part of this game when there is a lot on the line. And there is a lot on the line right now for the Twins. As we start the month of October, the intensity only increases. It is October baseball beginning tonight for the Twins. With 4 games left to play, still a game and a half out in the wild card. The Angels and Astros have flip-flopped last night, but the deficit is still the same for the Twins as they wrap up a 4-game series in Cleveland. Welcome one last time to Progressive Field. I'm Marnie Gellner. The Twins came into this series thinking they needed to take 3 of 4 from the Indians, and with a win tonight, the Twins would do exactly that. They're in the same position, though, sitting in the same spot, looking at that second wild card and chasing the same 2 teams. The Angels, though, finally lost last night. That ended a 7-game winning streak. They threatened in Oakland with runners on the corners in the bottom of the 9th, but Sean Doolittle got that final out. The Angels committed 4 errors in a game, which offset 5 home runs. They lost 8-7. Houston came from behind to win in Seattle, down 6-3. Chris Carter does it again. That's a 3-run bomb to tie it. Cody Rasmus drove in the winning run, and the Astros finish off the Mariners 7-6. So now in the West, Houston jumps back over the Angels, 2.5 games behind Texas. The Rangers and Angels open up a 4-game series tonight in Arlington. In the wild card, Houston is in control of that second spot now. The Astros are off tonight. They start a 3-game series in Arizona against the Diamondbacks starting tomorrow night. Coming up next, the Twins hope their rookie Tyler Duffey can continue to carry them. Dick and Bert on the biggest start of his young big league career after this.
Baseball. On all your home improvement needs.
great spark for the starting staff.
Curveball got him. What an afternoon for Tyler Duffy. 7 shutout innings.
A whale of an outing for Tyler Duffy.
Tyler Duffy will get the starting assignment tonight in the final road game of the regular season. Look at some of the great contributions young, inexperienced pitchers have made since the middle of August, and Tyler Duffy on that list. He's largely responsible for this Twins team still being in the race. And we welcome you to Cleveland. Dick Bramer and Bert Blyleven. About a month or so ago, or a year and a month ago, Tyler Duffy's season came to an end. He had some arm problems. The Twins shut him down. And they've talked about shutting him down in 2015. But lo and behold, in September, he's been the best thing they've had in their rotation.
And he doesn't want to get shut down. He wants this opportunity he has here tonight against the Cleveland Indians. Since his recall back in middle of August, over his last 8 starts, his first major league win came against the Cleveland Indians in Minnesota. He is 5-0, 2.17 earned run average. He's averaging over a strikeout an inning, and he is attacking the strike zone. He and Irvin Santana really have been the two to help get the Twins to where we are today.
Tyler Duffy's a rookie, Trevor May's a rookie, and on any given night the Twins might have 3 rookie position players in the lineup. Youth will be served. It has for both the Cleveland Indians and the Twins in their final matchup this year. Comes up next. After 158 games, the 4 that remain are the most important of the season for the Minnesota Twins.
So let the fire burn and the tables turn. It's till the end. 'Cause it's all or nothing, all or nothing, all or nothing now.
The chance to extend October baseball with a postseason push continues next. The Twins won the series in Detroit 2-1. They, frankly, need to win tonight to win this series and keep their playoff hopes alive. If they win tonight, there'll be a game out with 3 to play, and anything can happen. But if they lose tonight, they're 2 games back, and the already uphill task becomes a lot steeper. Paul Molitor has his team with a winning record in his first year as manager. And the Menards batting order for the series finale has Brian Dozier leading things off. Joe Mauer batting second, then Miguel Sano, Trevor Plouffe, Eddie Rosario, Torrey Hunter, Aaron Hicks, Kurt Suzuki, and Eduardo Escobar.
And for the third time this year, they'll be facing 24-year-old Trevor Bauer, making his first start since September 13th. He was moved out of the rotation. He had a very good first half, but the second half has not been very consistent.
Northland Ford defense for the Indians. Center fielder is Abraham Almonte. He is flanked on either side. Michael Martinez and Lonnie Chisenhall. Giovanni Urshela back in the lineup. A really good defensive third baseman. Lindor and Ramirez up the middle. Santana at first. And Roberto Perez behind the plate.
And Bauer's other two starts against the Twins, they hit him around pretty good. He's 1-1, but an ERA at 7.15.
Brian O'Nora, the crew chief, behind the plate. Mark Ripperger, Alan Porter, Jeff Kellogg on the bases, and we're ready to go. Dozier's had a tough road trip, just a couple of hits. Those came in Detroit. He still does not have a hit here in Cleveland.
Yeah, for his last 15 at bat, and I think the Twins are going to be a little more patient with Bauer than maybe other pitchers, because this guy has outstanding stuff. But Brian swinging at a high pitch right there. You want this guy to throw a lot of pitches, will he? And he will. And that's been his biggest issue really in the second half. Too many pitches in a short amount of time for Bauer.
Move to the bullpen, now back into the rotation, and he hits the outside corner, 1-2.
Bauer in his third season with the Indians. This is his first full season. The 11-game winner.
Tapper foul, an off-speed pitch, and Dozier got a piece of it.
And he's a strikeout pitcher. 167 strikeouts in 169 innings pitched, but 76 walks. I look at that and I say, there's a young man that once he learns to control those first 3 or 4 innings, maybe he could pitch deeper into the ball game. But he's also a young man that has about 12 different pitches. And he and Mickey Callaway have gone back and forth about trying to isolate a couple of those pitches into maybe 3 or 4.
Dozier flips another one foul. For Dozier, he has struck out 145 times on the season, and that has now tied the team record for strikeouts in a season. Bobby Darwin set that record for the Twins back in 1972.
Yeah, I was there. Bobby, when he made contact, it went a long way, but he did swing and miss a lot.
And Dozier might have gotten a piece of it, but Perez hangs on, and Dozier strikes out 1 down. That'll bring up Joe Mauer, who had a very impactful first game in the doubleheader yesterday.
He really did. In the first inning, he jumped on that pitch from Carrasco and gave the Twins an early 1-0 lead, and then he started that 4-run fourth inning that opened up the ball game to a 5-0 lead for Kyle Gibson. Twins won that game 7-1. That was game 1 of the doubleheader.
Mauer 5 for 14 with a home run against Bauer, and he takes outside, ball 1. And a strike, 1-1. And a foul tip, 1-2. Bauer's had some dominant games this year, but most of those came in the first half of the year. He had 3 starts in a row in May, where he pitched into the 8th inning and gave up just 1 run in each of those games. And Mauer, a little soft line drive, and Urshela has it for out number 2. That'll bring up Miguel Sano, who last night clobbered his 18th home run of the year. A no-doubter that broke for him, career-long homerless streak.
And Zach McAllister tried to sneak a fastball by him, and it ended up in the seats out in left center. 18 home runs now for Sano.
Named today as one of 3 candidates for the Players' Choice Rookie of the Year, along with Carlos Correa and Francisco Lindor. There's a strike on the outside corner. You'll see Bauer throw a variety of different velocities. We've seen low 90s, that one 85. We've seen mid 70s, and now low 90s again. 1-1.
Yeah, the first pitch a breaking ball, that was a fastball.
2-1. Twins more now on this road trip have had this lineup with Sano hitting third, guaranteeing a first inning plate appearance. Fouled back, 2-2.
Yeah, Bauer in his first 17 starts, he won 8 ball games, had an ERA of 3.76. But since the All-Star break, over his last 12 starts, one reason they kind of took him out of the rotation, 3-7 with a 6.2 earned run average.
Full count. Plouffe on deck.
It's funny how sometimes that All-Star break, you know, you come back and, you know, he had won the first 2 ball games prior to the All-Star game, came right back and lost the first 3, and it just kind of mushroomed from there.
Kyle Gibson went through that. It just that Gibson's kind of found a bit of a second win, and now called third strike. Sano thought it was ball 4, but Brian O'Nora said it's strike 3, and it's a 1-2-3 first for Bauer.
And prioritize winning. And you know, it was just one of those things. Young player got caught up in the emotion. Maybe he was mad at me for intentionally walking Kipnis. I'm not sure. But it was over the top, if you ask my opinion. We have to win a game today. And, you know, whatever underlying stories surrounding what happened last night, I hope that we're smart enough to not let that be a distraction, because we got to turn the page and go out there and play a good game.
Paul Molitor talking about Jose Ramirez and his 3-run home run late. Not so much the home run, but the prancing and the bat flip that followed. And Ramirez is in the Menards batting order, followed by Lindor, Kipnis, Santana, Chisenhall, and then Almonte, Perez, Martinez, and Urshela.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that Terry Francona was going to put him in the lineup, but you know what? I mean, old-time school, you go ahead and do it, but with Tyler Duffy on the mound, no. You play the game. You know, Twins, this is a very important ball game. You don't want the umpire to throw out your starters in the first inning. So, yeah, time will come where the Twins can get that back.
4 Hopper to Dozier, 1 away. And that'll bring up Francisco Lindor. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Eddie Rosario is in left. Aaron Hicks is in center. Torrey Hunter in right. Plouffe and Escobar left side of the infield. Dozier and Mauer on the right side. And Kurt Suzuki probably in it now for the long haul after catching 1 of the 2 games yesterday.
And Tyler Duffy making his 10th start, his second against the Indians. Picked up his first major league win back on August 15th in Minnesota over Cleveland. Won that ball game 4-1. Gave up only 1 hit in 6 innings.
Strike 1 to Lindor.
Lindor, the only one that ended up getting a hit off of Duffy back on August 15th.
This is the second time that the Indians have faced Duffy. Duffy has one team a second time just once. It was the Tigers, and he beat them both times. And the second outing about as effective as the first, and that's what the Twins are banking on here in this must-win situation.
Yeah, he just his last outing in Detroit, 6 innings, 2 runs allowed. Twins won that ball game 6-2.
Now inside, and it's 3-1.
Well, this guy has been red hot, Lindor, against the Twins all season long. He got called up on June 14th, and he's hitting about 500 off of them.
3-1.
From either side of the plate.
And a deep drive down the right field line, but with some hook. And it's a long strike. Lindor's had his rookie season played without the glare of playing for a contending team. That's the only thing that might keep him from getting the Rookie of the Year award. Carlos Correa for a contending team. And now Lindor strikes out, 2 away.
Man, a good curveball right there. And Duffy picks up his first strikeout.
Picked up his first major league win against the Indians at home in the middle of August.
Go back to August 15th. 2-6 very good innings. 7 strikeouts. He did walk 5 in that ball game, but he did a great job.
And since that start, now we know he gave up 2 home runs to the Blue Jays. A lot of people do that, but it was Duffy's major league debut on the 5th of August. Since then, with the 2 outs recorded here tonight, he has pitched 50 1/3 innings and given up 1 home run. 1 strike to Kipnis, and now 2.
And it all keys off that pitch right there. Yes, he has a good curveball, but he has shown very good control of his fastball, both sides of the plate. Kurt Suzuki has done a great job of handling him behind the plate. Another fastball away.
One and 2 to Kipnis.
And when you're that young, and you're, I mean, as far as making major league starts, only his 10th, you have to rely on your catcher, the experience of Kurt Suzuki.
Check swing. Kipnis succeeded. 2 and 2.
Oh, this is a big sweeping breaking ball. Kipnis keeping the barrel of the bat back.
Tapper foul between Sandy Alomar Jr. and the line.
It's not only a big breaking ball, it also has some drop to it at the end, and that's why I think it's so hard to make contact with that curveball and hit it solid.
He does different things with it too, right? I mean, he can make it drop
on it.
right. 2 and 2 to Kipnis, and fouled away. Long about Labor Day, the Twins expressed some concern about Duffy and his innings pitched this year, and if anything, he has looked stronger with every start instead of weaker. And he strikes out Kipnis and has a 1-2-3 first inning with a couple of strikeouts. Well, we won't be able to accurately say for several years to come, but my goodness, the rookie crop, not just with the Twins, but through baseball. Chris Bryant, the National League, Correa, guys like that. The rookie crop in 2015 may go down as one of the best rookie crops in Major League history. Trevor Plouffe will lead off the second, taking strike one. And a bouncer foul, 2 strikes. Lindor, Correa, Sano, Rosario, Buxton. I don't even hear much about Devin Travis anymore of the Blue Jays. In the first half of the year, it looked like he was going to win the Rookie of the Year award. 1-2 to Plouffe. Just 2 hits, 15 at bats against Bauer.
Nice breezy evening here tonight. Got papers flying all over the place up here in the booth. Yeah, wind blowing in from right field. Probably what I'd have to guess what Marnie told us, what, 40 miles an hour?
Yeah, 21. The clocking gusting to 36, I believe, is what they said.
That's been this way all day. Cool and windy.
Ooh, off
but no rain. Now, you know, Bauer's making his 3rd start against the Twins. Twins have hit him around, as I mentioned last inning. He's in those 2 starts, 11 and a third innings. Twins scored 9 runs off of them. 4 home runs. Torrey Hunter, Mauer, Rosario, and Suzuki all took them deep in those 2 games. Well, Trevor, 22 home runs on the year, tied with Torrey Hunter.
Breaking ball missing, and it's a full count.
Brian Dozier leading the Twins with 28 home runs.
Foul back.
Bauer actually has struggled here at home more than he has on the road. In 15 starts here, he's got an ERA at almost 6. And in 14 starts on the road, 3.3.
And Plouffe works a leadoff walk here in the second. We'll bring up Rosario, who's 3 for 5 with a home run against Bauer. And Lindor and Rosario and Buxton and Sano all had put on a power show last night. Sano's 18th of the year. Rosario to the opposite field again. Rosario pops it up weakly to short. Lindor is under it. 1 down. That'll bring up Hunter. In Bauer's 2 prior starts, the Twins scored early. In fact, in the first inning in each one of those games. Now trying to push a run across in the second inning.
Torrey 6 hits in 14 at bats against Bauer with a couple home runs. And he has hit well against Indian pitching this year.
Torrey had a good month of September after a disappointing month of August. His numbers in September good, but his influence on the rest of this Twins lineup, with the exception of Joe Mauer and Kurt Suzuki, nobody else really has any background. Here's a bouncer to short. Should be a double play. Lindor to Ramirez, and that takes care of the leadoff walk. Hunter bounces into a double play. Twins are done in the second. Tyler Duffy will face the middle of the Cleveland lineup when we come back.
come up to bat in the bottom of the second inning. Tyler Duffy went 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first inning, and he is a pretty emotional guy out there. I spoke to Twins backup catcher Chris Herman, who has caught Duffy plenty of times, especially in the minor leagues, and Duffy said he doesn't like to give up any walks. Herman said about Duffy, he doesn't like to give up any walks. He certainly doesn't like to give up hits. A lot of times, he doesn't even like it when a guy makes contact. He said, we'll be in the dugout sometimes. He'll come in and slam his glove down after he just retired the side. That's how competitive he is, how badly he wants this team to win. And Paul Molitor said, you may want to work a little bit on the body language when he's out there on the mound in the offseason, but Molitor said he certainly likes the fire and the competitiveness that he sees in this young rookie.
Thank you, Marty. Duffy, after his first major league win against the Indians, gave up just 1 hit, 6 innings. And when asked about his start, he was awfully hard on himself. He said, I'm better than that. I walked 5 guys. That's not me. I don't like to walk people.
Nothing wrong with emotion, as long as you can control it.
There's a strike, 2-1.
I like it when a pitcher shows some emotion that he cares rather than, oh hum, I just gave up a home run.
Swing and a miss, 2-2. That's what's been pleasantly surprising, I think, for Twins fans who hadn't heard much about Duffy. The fact that he's come up here and gotten so many swings and misses. With more than just the curveball, he gets swings and misses with his fastball. 2-2. There's a swing and a miss on the curve. 3 straight strikeouts now for Duffy, and all of them swinging strikeouts.
Again, it's the fastball that sets up the pitch that we show you that he gets the strikeout on. The previous pitch, he threw a high fastball that Santana swung through, and then the hard, tight breaking ball down and in gets a strikeout.
Lonnie Chisenhall.
You know, there's a lot of hitters that are not first fastball hitters, so they'll get ahead in the count, and that's really what Duffy's key is to stay ahead in the count.
I misspoke in the open. The Twins did shut Duffy down last year at the end of August, but it was not because of an arm injury. It was an oblique injury. And so he was done at the end of August last year. There's a ball to left field, and that'll drop in front of Rosario for a base hit. Chisenhall with a looping single to left.
Well, fastball away. Chisenhall, kind of an in and out swing. Just hits it softly down that left field line. Rosario gets it back in. And the first hit of the ball game for the Indians goes to Chisenhall. The first hit of the game.
We'll bring up Almonte with a man aboard.
Now, one thing too, Duffy's been able to get some double plays turned behind him. 9 so far. This is his 10th start. We've seen the fastball that he'll run up. Now, with a runner on first base, he'll try to throw that 2-seamer down and in if he does throw a fastball. There's a breaking ball that misses. You have the 4-seam fastball, then you have the 2-seamer, and that's the one that if you can throw it down and away, will get some ground balls.
One 1-0 to Almonte. Breaking ball on the outside corner. Duffy last year started in Class A ball and made it up to AAA. This year he started in AA and has been the most reliable Twin starter that they've had in the last 2 months of the year. Popped up center field. And over is Hicks, and that ball carrying to the edge of the warning track, and that's out number 2. The wind kept pushing that ball more toward the left center field gap. 2 down. Our Sanford Health injury report. Royals have the luxury in terms of having already won the division of resting some players, but yesterday Lorenzo Cain caused some concern, fouled the ball off his right kneecap. He's got a contusion. He's day-to-day. The Royals will come to Minnesota still hoping to have the best overall record in the league to establish home field advantage for as long as they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, right now it's the Toronto Blue Jays that have won one more game than the Royals.
Here's Roberto Perez. Down and in, ball one.
Yan Gomes getting the night off. Perez in his second season with the Indians.
Breaking ball over 1-1.
That's another thing about Duffy. It's not I fall behind, I'm going to throw a fastball. He has as much confidence in that breaking ball as he does with his fastball. And he will change speeds. That's kind of like a get me over type curveball. Remember that at bat against Kipnis. He threw that, I was mentioning the big curveball. Well, he struck him out on one that was a little bit quicker down and in.
One and one to Perez. Taken low, 2-1.
Twins are 7-2 in Duffy's 9 starts so far this year.
Fly ball right field. Hunter trots near the line. Makes the catch. And a scoreless second for the Indians as we head to the third. Drummer.
He really does. You wonder how loud that drum is. And playing with a drone right there earlier today, about 3 o'clock. And then before the game, he's out in front of the dugout, stretching his arm out, listening to his favorite music, probably country western, I'm sure. And then for some reason, warming up with 2 baseballs. And then playing a little long toss. Future center fielder if he doesn't make it as a pitcher.
Aaron Hicks will lead off the third for the Twins. Kurt Suzuki, Eduardo Escobar will follow.
That kind of got him out of Arizona. He was the #1 pick by the Diamondbacks. And they were looking forward to him being in their rotation. And he just wouldn't listen to what the Arizona Diamondbacks thought that might work for him. It's kind of in his own little world.
1-0, which is fine as long as things are going well. But now he's struggled here in the second half. The Indians have taken him out of the rotation. And I'm not sure what Mickey Callaway is supposed to tell this young man. 2-0 to Hicks. 3-0. Bauer walked the leadoff man in the second, but got a double play grounder to take care of that. And now he's fallen behind Hicks 3-0.
Well, again, 76 walks in 169 innings pitched, so that is a big concern.
And a strike. And remember, in the first inning, Sano thought he had drawn ball 4, and instead it was a called third strike. .32 pitches, 18 strikes, 3-1 to Hicks. And there's ball 4. Fox Sports North is proud to partner with Girls on the Run Twin Cities to empower girls to be healthy and confident. Join us for the Alaris Mortgage Girls on the Run Fall 5K on Saturday, November 14th at Harriet Island Pavilion. To register, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events. And you said the other day you're going to come back for that, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. Wait for me. You can pick me up at the airport.
Well,
okay,
I might be on my deer stand. If I don't have my buck by then, I might still be hunting that weekend. But it's a great event.
Well, keep an eye on Hicks right here. He has 13 stolen bases, and there have been 11 steals against Bauer in 19 attempts. Now Perez and Gomes behind the plate. Perez here tonight, very good throwing arms.
A strike. Suzuki caught the first game yesterday, but in his at bats struck out 3 times, which is very unlike Kurt.
Yeah, 426 plate appearances, 58 strikeouts. So he'll strike out about once every 9 at bats, and he did 3 times in game 1.
Suzuki does have some postseason experience with the Washington Nationals in 2012. The Nationals losing to the St. Louis Cardinals. 1-1. And a strike taken. 1-2.
Good hard breaking ball there. Good location.
Twins trying to do something with their second straight leadoff walk. Another double play grounder. Lindor steps on the bag, fires 2 down. Twice the leadoff walk has been erased on a ground ball to Lindor. That'll bring up Eduardo Escobar.
Now Suzuki hitting it back up the middle, but a nice hop for Lindor. All he has to do is step on the bag and flip it over to Santana to complete the double play.
Escobar's done a nice job hitting 9th for the Twins in the second half of the year. Twins getting a lot of production from this spot in the batting order. Hicks hit there for a while and produced, and now Escobar with a little fly ball left center field. Racing in is Martinez, and he makes the catch. And for the second inning in a row, Bauer pitches around a leadoff walk and gets through the inning on just 10 pitches. Link, your link to what's next. By NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. No score. Tyler Duffy's given up a hit. Ones have taken a couple of walks. Nobody's touched second base as a base runner, and Michael Martinez will lead things off in the third for Cleveland.
Hey, you want to take a bunt away from this. Martinez showing bunt right there.
And strike one with Plouffe charging in at third base.
Yeah, Martinez a switch hitter, a little speedster. Not played in a lot of ball games. Just called up by the Indians on September 4th.
Brian O'Nora getting some heat for calling that a strike. Cleveland dugout challenging whether Martinez actually offered at that pitch. One strike it is. And Martinez rolls it foul, 2 strikes.
Now Martinez, 32 years old. He has some major league experience with the Phillies and the Pirates. Spent the whole season down in AAA. That's Columbus for the Indians.
That's to center. Hicks.
Whoa.
At the very end, catches a sailor that might have caught some of that wind and stayed with it for the catch. One down.
Tell you what, as a pitcher, you turn around and you see your outfielder right there. You see Aaron Hicks all of a sudden at the last minute leap, and your heart just drops. It went a little bit further than he anticipated, and you could see the reaction of Duffy.
One down, and here's Urshela. Urshela's been slowed with a sore throwing shoulder. Indians have really been impressed with how he's played at third base. They're not convinced yet that he's an accomplished major league hitter. Fouled back 1-1.
Well, he's got some pop in that bat in the minor leagues, a .268 hitter, but 56 home runs in 7 minor league seasons.
Duffy got a ground ball out for his first out. 3 strikeouts, now 3 fly ball outs. This one to the gap in right center field. It's down for a hit, and it'll get all the way to the wall for an extra base hit. Urshela to second, and he will hold up there with a 1-out double. A couple of well-hit balls against Duffy here in the third inning.
Well, I can attest, when you leave that breaking ball up like he did right there, good piece of hitting by Urshela. Just watch the location. It stayed up. And Urshela just hitting it the other way. Right into the gap, rolls all the way to the bullpen area for the Indians and the Twins, but the Indians are behind the netting there. Urshela with a double, his 8th of the year.
And now Jose Ramirez, who hit a ground ball to Dozier his first time up. Missing, down and in, ball 1. Breaking ball over. Duffy pitching around a 1-out single in the second, now trying to pitch around a 1-out double in the third. Two and 1.
Duffy just turning 24 years old. He'll turn 25 in December.
Tapper right side. Mauer to the bag. 2 down and on the play. Urshela goes to third. And now Duffy will try to get Lindor out. He struck him out in the first, but just getting him out here will be an accomplishment because the Twins haven't done much of that.
No, you can see what he's hit so well against the Twins this year. Hitting .472. And that's again from both sides of the plate where he's hitting well over 300 as a right-handed and a left-handed hitter.
Big spot here for Duffy with a runner at third and 2 down. Lindor swings through, strike one.
That's the pitch that struck him out in the first inning. That curveball down. Lindor, just 21 years old, out of Puerto Rico.
Checked his swing, 1-1. Hitting over 300, and as a switch hitter, hitting over 300 from both sides of the plate. With power. 1-1 to Lindor. And now 1-2.
Yeah, 3 straight breaking balls. What's amazing is you get a youngster like Lindor. Now, he signed very young by the Indians back in 2011, but 278 minor league hitter in five minor league seasons.
Got him with a breaking ball. And Duffy pitches around the double. We're scoreless after 3.
Well, welcome back. Let's do a little pitch by pitch. Duffy against Lindor. Now with a runner at third base. He stayed with the pitch that he's been able to get a lot of his strikeouts on, a curveball. Lindor staying off. 1-1 count. And Duffy, Lindor fouled it off. And on 4 pitches, 4 curveballs, he picks up his 4th strikeout.
See what the Twins can get done against Trevor Bauer. Second time through the lineup. No hits the first time. A couple of leadoff walks. Dozier battled Bauer, but ended up striking out. He's now just 2 for 18 against Bauer. Strike on the outside corner. Pass along birthday wishes to another former Twin second baseman, Rod Carew, celebrating his birthday today. Might be watching Twins television tonight. The Hall of Famer. Can we give his age or?
Yeah, 70.
Okay.
70 years old. Also Jeff Reardon with a birthday today. Happy 60th to Jeff. And a former outfielder for the Twins, Roberto Cali. He is 51. So yeah, some birthdays, and everybody else out there that has a birthday today, happy birthday.
1-2 to Dozier. Mauer and Sano will follow. Bauer aborts his delivery. Taken low. 2-2.
Bauer, 24 years old. He was Arizona's #1 pick in 2011. His college career outstanding at UCLA in Southern California. 38-4 in his college career. 3rd overall pick in the 2011 draft.
Lindor gets another chance, and an easy chance it is. On target throw, 1 away. Time now for our Coors Timeless Moment. On this date, at the end of the 2006 season, Joe Mauer became the first American League catcher to win a batting title and to lead the majors in hitting. The Twins catcher hit .347 that season, edging the Pirates' Freddie Sanchez, who hit .344. And on this date in 1989, Kirby Puckett edged Carney Lansford for his only batting title in his Hall of Fame career. And that was back at a time when right-handed batting champions were pretty rare. Guys like Boggs, Mattingly, some other good left-handed hitters that won a lot of batting championships in a row. There's a strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
Yeah, Joe has 3 of them, 2006, 2008, and 9. Won the MVP in the American League in 2009.
Twins clinched the 06 title that day. On this date, in rather dramatic fashion. You may remember that was the game the Twins finished their game, and then 40-some thousand at the Metrodome watched the finish of the Tiger Kansas City game on the Jumbotron scoreboard at the Metrodome. That game started after the Twins game did because of some rain delay.
That was a fun game to do and watch the reaction of the players once they knew.
Close pitch, and Mauer takes ball 3. Mauer hit a pop-up to Urshela, soft line drive, I should say, for the second out of the first inning. 3-2 to Mauer with Sano on deck. To left field, Martinez back, and that ball's over his head. Mauer will get an extra base hit. First Twins hit, a slicing liner that sliced over the head of the left fielder.
Well, Joe did what he does so well, take that pitch the other way. And it's a line drive. Good swing right there by Mauer. And Martinez goes back, and he just can't get to it.
That's a tough ball anyway, but again, that you could almost see that ball get caught by the wind and push back toward the line over the left fielder's head.
Well, when you inside out the ball anyway, it has that spin on it that's going to take it toward that left field line.
Well, here's Sano, and the Twins get their first base hit and first runner in scoring position. Sano called out on strikes to wrap up the first inning. Big swing and a miss, and the breaking ball, 0-1. To Miguel Sano.
And he doesn't get cheated when he swings that bat.
0-2. A high on base guy, and what we've seen many times when the count is 0-2, the at bat's just beginning. More than his share of strikeouts, but a lot of full counts. 1-2. Leading all Major League Baseball rookies in on-base percentage
since his call up on July 2nd.
One and two. Sano hitting a home run in his last at bat last night. Fouled back.
Ooh, he had a good swing right there. Bauer has given up 23 home runs. And we have seen the power, the home runs, since he got called up. 18 of them. Great slugging percentage, on base percentage, and where he ranks: runs scored, runs batted in.
1-2 from Bauer. And a lot of shakeoffs, and Sano gets time and steps out. The numbers are one thing, but Sano has also shown the flair for the dramatic.
Perez sitting away.
Grounder left side. That ball juggled by the third baseman Urshela, and he still gets Sano at first.
Urshela did a good job right there because he kept his body in front of that ball. It took a bad hop, but it hit off his body, dropped straight down. Then he barehanded it and quickly got it over across the diamond. See him get in front of body and then reaching down. All one motion, pretty much, getting it over to Santana for the second out. Mauer has to stay at second.
Bauer wants a different baseball, and it'll be Trevor Plouffe, the team leader in runs batted in, trying to drive in number 86 on the season. Up and away, ball one. Mauer with a one-out double at second. Two and 0.
Two breaking balls missing. Bauer making his 64th major league start. He has 18 wins, 24 losses.
To center. Almonte going back, still going back. That ball is off the warning track. A ground rule double for Plouffe, and the Twins score first with a pair of doubles.
Boy, with that wind blowing in, how hard Plouffe hit this ball. Almonte kept going back. I thought maybe he was going to catch up to it because that wind was maybe knocking it down, but that ball ended up one hopping the warning track and then over the fence. Good solid swing right there by Plouffe, straightaway center. Watch Almonte go after it. Looks like he's going to catch up to it, but it just kept going and going. Hit the warning track, bounced over. So ground rule double for Plouffe. He picks up his 86th RBI.
Rosario takes a strike and spins away.
Twins take a 1-0 lead.
Big two-out double for Plouffe.
For Trevor's 35th double of the year.
One strike to Rosario. What a stop by Santana at first, and he gets to the bag. Bauer does to end the inning. Rosario with a rocket and a knockdown by the former catcher to end the inning, but the Twins pick up a couple of doubles in the game's first run. Twins scoring first, a pair of doubles in the fourth. And it is now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Give us the best you've got. Use hashtag NorthDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Jason Kipnis will lead off the fourth, and now Tyler Duffy pitching with a lead. He has struck out Lindor twice. He has struck out 4 men and given up just 2 hits. Kipnis struck out to wrap up the first inning. And a get me over curveball that got over. The other game of principal importance to Twins fans, the Angel-Texas game. That game has just gotten underway. First of 4 games. And in the 15 prior games, the Angels have beaten the Rangers 10 times. The Twins are hoping that the Rangers can have a really good series at home against the Angels. The Angels, one of the 2 teams the Twins are chasing. The Astros in the driver's seat right now. Then they are idle today. 2-1 to Kipnis. 3-1. Duffy's had a couple of 3-ball counts, but hasn't walked anybody yet. And that's fouled away. 3-2. Kipnis, Santana, and Chisenhall. A lefty, a switch hitter, and a lefty.
Now Kipnis putting a very solid season together after a disappointing season last year when he hit only .240.
That's hit to right. Hunter back, still going back at the wall, leaping, and it's off the wall. The carom to Hicks in right center field. It's a leadoff double for Kipnis.
Well, I think the wind may have kept that in the ballpark right there. Kipnis, short, compact swing, looking for his 10th home run. Instead, it'll be his 43rd double. Kipnis thought he got this right here. Fastball, good, solid, short, compact swing. And a second double for the Indians.
I think you're right. That it looks enclosed out there, but it is open, and I think there's some wind that's coming through the second level there that may have helped knock that ball down. Leadoff double, and here's Santana, who went down swinging in the second. And a fastball on the outside corner.
Santana looking back at Brian O'Nora saying, "Whoa, I thought that was outside."
Duffy gave up a 1-out double in the third, but the Indians didn't score. Now a leadoff double in the fourth. 1-1. Bouncer right side, Dozier to Mauer, and Kipnis goes to third.
Yeah, good at bat by Santana, advancing Kipnis in the scoring position just 90 feet away.
Chisenhall will bat, but first our Carsoup.com trivia question. The Reds are going to do something this season they haven't done since 1983. What is that? That's an odd question.
End up in last place.
Infield in with Chisenhall at the plate. Missing inside, ball one. Chisenhall with a single, his first time up. Two and 0. Almonte on deck. Plouffe hit his 2-0 pitch for a double, driving in the first run of the game in the top of this inning.
Yeah, Chisenhall just kind of flared a ball down the left field line in his last at bat.
And Suzuki with a nice backhanded pickup. It's 3-0, and Duffy hasn't thrown anything close to a strike to Chisenhall.
Well, the big breaking ball, you can see Suzuki, good job on that one little hop, keeping it in his glove.
3-0 to Chisenhall.
He'll have the green light.
And
Side.
ball 4.
First walk for Duffy.
Now back to what you were saying before about Duffy, who does change his fastball around. And in a situation like this, we'll try to get that two-seamer to be put on the ground someplace in the hopes of getting out of the inning.
Yeah, Monte pretty quick out of that batter's box, so he's a tough guy to double up, I would imagine.
Monte's only grounded into 3 double plays. 166 at bats and 32 strikeouts. Tying run at third with 1 away. Breaking ball and a called strike.
Monte coming over to the Indians from the San Diego Padres back in late July 31st trade. Mark Zepchinski ended up going to the Padres.
Both these teams really have changed their starting lineup significantly from the beginning of the season. Twins have changed in center field and in short. The Indians wholesale changes both the infield and the outfield. 1 strike to Almonte. Checked his swing. 1-1. Duffy struck out 3 batters in a row out of the first inning into the second. Only 1 strikeout since. He could use one here. On the ground, Dozier to second, relay to first, double play.
Nicely turned.
A sharp ground ball hit to Dozier, and Duffy pitches around the leadoff double.
Now that was a turn of a double play. You cannot pitch a good ball game without good defensive play. And Dozier, look at the good feed over to Escobar. Yeah, they work on it, you know, every day in batting practice. My goodness, that quick turn right there, getting the speedy Almonte at first base, keeps the game at 1-0. Great turn of a double play by Dozier.
The 1-0 lead is preserved, and now Torrey Hunter will lead off the 5th, up and in, ball 1. The Twins are essentially, on this final Thursday of the regular season, where they were on the final Thursday of the regular season in 2009. Now, the Indians in this case don't have a chance to clinch anything, but Twins fans will remember that last Thursday in Detroit, the Tigers had a chance to clinch the division. Well, they didn't. Twins won that ball game. The ball hit to short center, and Almonte coming over and now in makes the catch one away. Then the Tigers limped in to the end of the season against the White Sox in Detroit while the Twins ran the table and eventually forced game 163 with the Tigers. Now it's a little bit different situation, but the Twins find themselves needing to win here tonight to stay alive, basically, and then they'll need some help from somebody else, a couple of teams in fact, to, if nothing else, force another game 163 on Monday. Ball one.
Well, you have to take care of business here first and hope the cards fall in your way.
Hicks takes a strike, and it's 1-1. The Thursday game in Detroit memorable because the Twins had a bench clearing brawl. Tigers weren't involved at all, but Delman Young was a little upset with Jose Majaras, his teammate. 2-1, but they won the game and then went home, and we were supposed to say goodbye to the Metrodome on that Sunday afternoon, but the Twins fouled up everybody's plans. They had one more game to play there. Hicks with a drive to left center field, and Martinez makes the catch.
Yeah, it looked like he fought the lights a little bit right there, but able to pick it up and get the line drive catch.
Suzuki will bat, but first you can follow live Twins baseball every day with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Twins all season with MLB.TV Game of the Day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. You can browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking videos and bilingual access for Spanish-speaking fans. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. 2 down here in the 5th, and now Suzuki hit into a double play his first time up.
Tell you what, Bauer was taken out of that starting rotation after his outing against Detroit here back in the middle of September.
2 strikes.
He made 1 relief appearance, and this is his first start since. He was doing a pretty good job. Pitch count not bad, 68 pitches.
Josh Tomlin was supposed to make this start, but then the rain out a couple nights ago gave the Indians the opportunity to run Bauer back into the rotation and let everybody make one more start. Suzuki strikes out, and the Twins send just 3 to the plate in the 5th.
Home games, you bring a circle me signs, you might find yourself in a Minnesota Lottery winner circle where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
1-0 Twins. Tyler Duffy's pitched out of a couple of situations. A 1-out double in the third, and the leadoff double, and got a big double play grounder to end the fourth. And now he'll face the bottom third of the Cleveland lineup, starting with Roberto Perez.
You know, I started many a game. I had a lot of shutouts, and I'll tell you, you cannot pitch deep into the ball game without good defense, and that's what Brian Dozier and Escobar gave him last inning. That was a huge play.
Ball one to Perez. It did not look like Duffy came close to throwing Chisenhall a strike in the hopes of setting up what eventually happened. And a strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
Yeah, you wish that the blueprint was made that way, but you don't know. I mean, he fell behind on Chisenhall. He didn't want to give him a pitch that he could maybe hit hard somewhere and drive in Kipnis.
Perez lifts it foul.
And that's really, you know, I mean, you're looking at a youngster that's only making his 10th major league start, and if that was his thought process, that's pretty good.
Well, he's talked about that, though, about how, you know, he understands that to pitch deep in the ball game, you've got to be able to use all your pitches and do what is required in a certain situation. Another leadoff hit, single right up the middle by Perez.
And Duffy's reaction was he kind of dropped his head. You could see the frustration because he knew he left that breaking ball up and it hit right back up the middle. Fourth hit for the Indians.
Here's the situation with the Twins needing some help from Chip Hale and the Arizona Diamondbacks in the series against Houston that'll start tomorrow, and then the 4-gamer that has already started tonight in Arlington, Texas. Here's Michael Martinez, very speedy runner, hit the ball very hard his last time up. Hicks stayed with a sailing line drive to make the catch in center. There's a bunt, foul, 1 strike.
Well, speed is his game for Michael Martinez.
One strike to Martinez. 7 hits, 25 at bats so far this year, squaring and taking inside 1-1.
A lot of time in the minor leagues for Martinez. 9 minor league seasons with the Nationals, Phillies, Pirates, Indians.
25 at bats up here with 9 strikeouts, and Duffy will try to get him here before or after, I guess, the bunt attempt here. And there's a bunt. Suzuki has to hurry. Got him by a step. And Escobar scampering over to third to make sure third base was covered. One away, a sacrifice, sending Perez to second base. Celebrate the start of the 2015-16 season with Fox Sports North at the Minnesota Wild Wake Up Rally Thursday, October 8th. Stop by for free coffee, Wild magnet schedules, and other items starting at 6 a.m. on the Skyway level of U.S. Bank Plaza in downtown Minneapolis. For more details, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events. Another runner in scoring position for the Indians. They left a man there in the third, left a man there in the fourth. Number 9 batter, and a ball chopped to third, backhanded by Plouffe, sets and fires out number 2.
Well, a quick out too.
Well, Trevor charging that ball enough to get that first hop. Last night we saw him field a short hop on the backhand side and make the play.
Well, you know, you wait back, and that's going to take a nasty hop, maybe come up on you. And right there, Trevor going in a couple steps and making sure he gets it before it can hit take another bounce. So good play by Trevor Plouffe.
Here is Ramirez. He's hit 2 ground balls for out so far tonight. Ball 1. Ramirez hitting in the leadoff spot, hitting just .220 on the year. 1-0 on the outside corner. So far, Duffy has scattered 4 hits about as well as you can scatter them. 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth. Off the plate, 2-1.
Yeah, you'd rather have him come with 2 outs, but last couple innings, a leadoff double and then a single here. 72 pitches.
2-1 to Jose Ramirez.
And that's right about where you want to be. Average about 15 pitches an inning.
3-1. Duffy looks over his left shoulder on his follow through. Pats himself on the back of the head. Doesn't want to have to face Lindor, who's hitting about 100 points higher than Ramirez is. 3-1. And a fastball down the middle. Ramirez not one to walk a whole lot. 31 of them in 304 at bats.
Yeah, we've seen before. He'll throw that curveball at any time.
Got him with a breaking ball. Suzuki needs to throw to first, and that ends the inning. 5 shutout innings for Tyler Duffy, and a 1-0 Twins lead. So much at stake for the Twins. Our Mountain Dew fans of the game trying to stay warm on a chilly evening here in Cleveland. Eduardo Escobar will lead off the 6th. And he takes strike 1. Both Bauer and Duffy have pitched well here. The Twins have a pair of doubles that came in the same inning, and hence the 1-0 lead. This one to left, slicing to the corner. And Martinez, with the wind pushing it, makes the catch for out number 1. Let's get caught up with the Twins scoring in the 4th.
Well, both pitchers pitching great. Trevor Plouffe with Joe Mauer after he doubled with 1 out. It's an over-the-head of ground rule double. Scored Joe Mauer that in the 4th inning. Duffy, 5 innings. He has worked out some jams, but he's been able to pick up a strikeout. A big double play turned behind him in the 4th inning.
And now Dozier 0 for 2. He struck out in the 1st, hit a ground ball to Lindor in the 4th. And the first pitch fouled back. Bryant still looking for his first hit in this 4-game series, and just his 3rd hit on the road trip. Tapped foul up the 3rd base line, and it's 0-2. Time called just as Bauer was swinging into his windup. Outside 1-2. Imagine that Bauer's on a bit of a pitch count here tonight because he was out of the rotation for a while. Checked his swing. 2-2.
No, I bet not. I don't think so. Good all winter to rest. I'm surprised Bauer has done such a good job because what his track record has been, too many pitches in a short amount of time. But here tonight, doing a good job of maintaining his pitch count. Right now it's 76 pitches, 45 strikes.
Yeah, he started a game in about 3 weeks and just pitched 1 inning in relief in that time. On the ground again to Lindor. Bad place to hit it. 2 down. That'll bring up Bauer. Twins take on the Royals starting tomorrow night. Fan Appreciation Weekend is Friday and Saturday, presented by U.S. Bank. All fans receive a Twins stocking cap presented by West Bend. Sunday is Kids Appreciation Day, when the first 10,000 fans 14 and under will get a TC stocking cap courtesy of our family brands. Call 800-33-TWINS. Visit twinsbaseball.com to get your tickets. Twins trying to win tonight to make all 3 of those games very significant. Down and in, ball 1. No score. Top of the 2nd inning in Arlington between the Angels and the Rangers.
Oh, Joe got the Twins' first hit in the 4th inning, a double with 1 out. And then scored on Plouffe's RBI double.
And fouled away over the Cleveland dugout. 1-1.
Bauer again making his 30th start. He has 1 complete game that came earlier this year against Kansas City here. Ended up losing that ball game 2-1, but went 9 innings. His only complete game in his young career.
2-1 to Bauer. Chopped to Santana. Bauer has a 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. A pitcher's duel here in Cleveland. 1-0 Twins. Well, the Twins hoping to win here today, and what that would mean is they would be 1 game back of either one team or 2. The Angels will either win and crawl into a tie with Houston, or lose and fall back into a tie with the Twins. The Twins leading here 1-0, and Lindor will lead things off. Strike 1 from Duffy. Lindor, Kipnis, and Santana. Chop to the right side. Big hop for Dozier and a quick first out.
A good fastball, had some sink on it. Lindor hitting it into the ground, and Dozier making the play.
And that'll bring up Kipnis, who doubled, leading off the fourth and got as far as third base. Twins took 2 out of 3 in Detroit. 2 of the first 3 here. And 3 games left with Kansas City in Minnesota this weekend. Fastball and strike 1. As we saw from Cody Anderson last night, there's nothing overwhelming or overpowering about the fastball. But if you have command of your other pitches, as Anderson's done for the Indians, Duffy's done it for the Twins, you can get a lot of batters out.
Yeah, Anderson has that very good changeup that he had the Twins off balance last night, and it's the same thing for the curveball.
0-2 in Kipnis.
You know, you don't see Duffy throw a lot of straight changes because he changes up off his curveball so well. He'll take a little off his fastball, add and subtract off of that, but he won't throw like an 80-mile-an-hour changeup. It'll be an 80-mile curveball that is off his 84-mile-an-hour curveball.
1-2 to Kipnis. Back to Duffy. 2 down. As promised earlier in the game, we've selected the Data Strong Fan photo of the game. You can tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag North Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. We've only got a couple of those left. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Cooper not looking at the camera there because he's watching the Twins on TV.
Yeah, because we're doing tomorrow night's game, and then we'll do Sunday. We're not doing Saturday's game because of the big network taking over.
Breaking ball over, strike 1.
That game is now at what, 12:10, I believe, rather than 6:10 on your schedule.
So if you have a ticket, make note. If you want to watch it on TV, make note. Listen to the radio. Follow it on your device. Whatever you want to do. It's going to start at noon on Saturday. Down and in, a ball. This is such a fun time of the year for a baseball fan. If your team is involved as the Twins are, it's not just the Twins game, it's the Angels game. Interested in how the Royals are doing in their series because they're coming to town. Who's pitching in that series? Who's not going to pitch in Minnesota?
Well, it's been 4+ years for Twins fans to feel this way, so that's what feels so good about here we are at October 1st. And we're concerned about other teams, but we also are concerned about Duffy and the Twins. Let's win. Let's win here to keep the pressure on the Astros and the Angels.
Paul Molitor said if the Twins are playing next week, Duffy will be in the rotation. As effective as he's been, Twins will count on him. This one hit into the shift. Plouffe is there. Over to Mauer. 3 ground ball outs and a clean 6th inning for Tyler Duffy. Miguel Sano will lead off the 7th. clinging to that 1-0 lead.
Well, the only scoring came in the fourth inning, a double by Mauer, and then with 2 outs, a big RBI double by Trevor Plouffe. And Tyler Duffy has put zeros on the board for 6 innings. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, giving up 4 hits.
3, 4, and 5 batters will hit against him in the 7th, starting with Sano. Called out on strikes in the 1st, hit a ground ball to 3rd in the 4th.
Yeah, Bauer's retired the last 7 straight Twin batters, and Duffy's retired now 6 in a row.
Down and in, ball 1. Twins took a couple of leadoff walks early in the game. Plouffe in the 2nd, Hicks in the 3rd, but then Bauer got double play grounders. Popped up down the right field line, and Chisenhall with the catch, and Sano's retired 1 away. We'll bring up Plouffe. October means baseball, and Fox Sports 1 continues to be your home for postseason action with the American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment of the drama and history. It all begins October 8th on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Here's Plouffe. He's reached both times against Bauer. A leadoff walk in the 2nd, and then the RBI double after Bauer fell behind 2-0 with 2 outs in the 4th. Ball 1. And now 2-0. 2-0 in the 4th inning. Bauer hung a breaking ball, and Plouffe blasted it to straightaway center field. 3-0. Rosario on deck.
And you know Plouffe looking down at Gene Glenn, but he has the green light. Maybe it's a fastball middle in, something he can put up in the grandstands up there. Like that.
Foul back.
Good swing.
Three and 1 with the Twins' 3rd baseman. And a walk will put him aboard. Trevor having a good day against Bauer. He come into the game with just 2 hits and 15 at bats, but he's reached all 3 times. I'll go with they'll finish with 95 or more losses. Last in their division. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, Cincinnati 63-95 coming into today's play. 36.5 games behind the Cardinals, who won their 100th game yesterday.
Rosario swings and misses, and it's not just the Cardinals. In the Reds' defense, the National League Central, the best division in baseball, Pirates will finish just short of 100 wins. The Cubs with over 90 wins already. 1 strike to Rosario. That's Doink behind 3rd, a foul ball. When the Twins got their run in the 4th, and the next at bat, Rosario hit a smash, and Santana got enough of it to knock it down on the backhand side to get Rosario. Now, depending on how this game turns out, that's either going to be a really nice play or a really big play. Because Plouffe was at 2nd, and he would have scored had that ball gotten by Santana.
Yeah, he knocked it down nicely, and then Bauer was there to cover the bag.
2 strikes to Rosario. Twins looking for some breathing room here in the 7th. That's to short left. Martinez coming in, and he'll make a running catch. Should be able to cover a lot of ground out there. He really is fast, and he made a running catch for out number 2. And as Hunter comes to the plate in his 2nd inning at bat, we were talking about the influence he has had on this otherwise untested Twins lineup. By example, and you need to lead by example. If you're hitting 180, you're not going to be of much use, but he's caught a 2nd wind in his season and has shown some younger, inexperienced players the
ropes.
The ropes, yes. Popped up to the right side, and Ramirez retreats. Now the wind pushing it back toward the skin of the infield. And the Twins are done in the 7th. Bauer gets through it on just 11 pitches. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, a classic quarter pounder with cheese only at McDonald's, and right now just $3. Runs, for that matter hits, hard to come by tonight. 1-0 Twins lead. Chisenhall will lead off the bottom of the 7th. Missing inside, ball 1. Chisenhall's reached both times against Duffy, a second inning single and a 4th inning walk.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is going to be Duffy's last inning. Hopefully he can put another 0 on the board. 87 pitches right now. There'll be 88. Missing outside.
Fell behind Chisenhall 2-0 with a runner at third base and 1 out. Ended up walking him and then getting a double play grounder. 2-0. And at the knees, 2-1.
Again, Duffy won his first major league game in Minnesota against Cleveland. 6 shutout innings. And he's matched that here so far.
And a called strike on the outside corner, freezing Chisenhall. Trevor May getting loose. Available tonight for the first time in a while. Breaking ball, tap foul.
He's got such a good tight rotation on there, and it's hard, I think, for hitters to square up that ball because it has tremendous spin on that downward plane. That's what a good curveball can do.
2-2 to Chisenhall. And a tapper foul, still alive. He's not a classic back and over the top guy. He kind of three-quarters it.
Right.
But man alive, as he pitched big in some games the Twins have absolutely needed.
He has been outstanding
down the stretch, including tonight. 2-2 to Chisenhall. Not close.
Yeah, trying to overthrow that fastball there.
Almonte on deck, then Perez.
Threw 112 pitches in his last start, that coming in Detroit, where he worked 6 innings, gave up only 2 runs. Twins won 6-2.
Breaking ball, golf down the line, foul by about 3 feet.
Yeah, Chisenhall's probably had the best at bats against him, even though he walked on 4 pitches in the 4th inning. Got the first base hit for the Indians. Having a good battle right here with Duffy.
Chisenhall looking for the curve, got it. Put some good wood on it. And another 3-2 pitch coming. Got him on the outside corner.
We've seen so many curveballs down and in, and this one, don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but it started on the outer half and then came over and hit the outer half of the plate. See Suzuki sitting pretty much down the middle, and that's more that we've only seen a couple of those, almost you call that a drop, the straight down curveball.
Perfect pitch. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier.
Strikeout number 6.
First one looking. And it comes leading off the 7th. Here's Almonte. Swing and a miss.
I like Duffy. He just got that glove out. Like Cisco, give me the ball. I'm ready. 6 1/3 innings, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts.
Up the middle and through.
When he left up.
And Duffy gives up a 1-out single. Big turn at first by Almonte. That'll bring up Roberto Perez.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Perez singled up the middle, leading off the 5th, got as far as second base. Duffy got a big double play grounder to wrap up the 4th. He'd like to get one here in the 7th. Almonte 6 steals and 6 tries. Indians have tried everything to score a run. They've had a 1-out double. They had a leadoff double, moved the runner to 3rd but didn't score. A leadoff single in the 5th, sacrificed the runner to 2nd. Now a 1-out single in the 7th.
There has not been a stolen base attempt against Duffy yet. This is his 10th start.
Perez lifts it foul over the Twins dugout. So far, with 6 1/3 innings here tonight, Duffy in 2 starts against the Indians has pitched 12 1/3 innings and given up 6 hits.
You know what's been good too, Dick, is that against the Central Division. Now this is his 5th start against a team in the Central Division. He's 3-0 with a 2.35 ERA, and you know so many games are played against the teams in the Central Division, 19 times.
Check swing, 1-1. His shortest start against the White Sox lasted just 4 2/3 innings.
The Twins still ended up winning that ball game 8-6.
Had a bout of control issues in that 5th inning and was taken out. 1-1 to the Cleveland catcher. And now 2-1. Monte bluffed towards 2nd, and that got Dozier to cover the second base bag.
Well, 100 pitches, 62 strikes. Do you think you get another ground ball right here? Maybe Perez beat it into the ground. Twins turn a double play in the 4th inning.
3-1. Speedy Michael Martinez on deck.
Now Terry Francona wanting to make sure of the count with Brian O'Nora.
Three and 1 to Roberto Perez. Driven deep to center. Hicks back. Gone. A home run for Roberto Perez. And the Indians take a 2-1 lead.
Well, he fell behind in the count. Perez, a good fastball hitter. A line drive home run straight away center field. His 7th home run of the year. Good extension by Perez, and just the 2nd home run that Duffy has allowed in his last 9 starts.
And that ball slicing into the cutout area there and away from that extended wall. And Duffy has pitched so well here into the 7th inning. Gives up a line drive single to center and a 2-run home run to Perez, and the Twins find themselves down a run. Hammered a double to center to drive in the Twins run, and then Duffy fell behind Perez.
And Perez, a good fastball hitter. He's looking fastball. He got it, and he hit a rocket to straightaway center. That ball was smoked right there. See him almost wind up looking for the fastball. Got it. And the ball just clearing the fence in center.
2-1 Cleveland. 1 out. And Michael Martinez will face Trevor May.
Trevor May making his 30th relief appearance. Done a very good job out of that bullpen as a reliever. A 4-1 record, 3.03 ERA in 29 2/3 innings.
Been dealing with back spasms the last couple of weeks. And he delivers strike 1.
Yeah, May's last appearance Saturday in Detroit. Pitched 1 inning, did give up a couple hits, but no runs in the Twins' 6-2 win.
2 strikes to Martinez.
Yeah, May is a reliever, 29 2/3 innings, 34 strikeouts, only 7 walks, 1 of those intentional.
And off the plate 1-2. Twins still project May to be a starting pitcher next year, and it might be that the back issues that he's had would further encourage that notion. A little more recovery time for a starter. Escobar throwing low. Mauer with a
nice
great backhanded pickup. 2 down.
Nice pick by Mauer.
2 down. And listen up to find out how you can buy tickets to potential postseason games at Target Field. Now available. The general public's able to buy tickets to a potential wild card game as well as any division series game played at Target Field. They're on sale now. All you have to do is visit twinsbaseball.com to pick up your tickets to October.
You know, Escobar's been so steady at short, but that's what speed does to a good fielder. You know that Martinez is quick out of that batter's box, and Escobar had to come in, get the little short hop, and then hurry his throw. But Joe over there made a nice pick.
Urshela the batter, 1 strike. Tapped or a foul tip. 2 strikes. Urshela with a double in the 3rd, and then he hit a ground ball to Plouffe in the 5th. Brian Shaw getting loose in the Cleveland bullpen. They've got a great 7-inning effort from Trevor Bauer here tonight. Just off the outside corner.
Yeah, Bauer 7 innings, 92 pitches. And the bullpen for the Indians, outstanding. Second best earned run average.
Urshela strikes out. The Indians are done, but they get a 2-run home run from Roberto Perez to take a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. Trevor Bauer's evening is done. He pitched 7 very good innings. And it'll be Brian Shaw, the first one out of the bullpen, making his 73rd relief appearance. He led the American League in appearances last year with 80. Done a good job. 53 strikeouts, 62 2/3 innings, 55 games. So Kevin Jepson and Justin Wilson of the Yankees, both with 73 appearances. Now Brian Shaw joining that group.
And a heightened sense of urgency now with Aaron Hicks leading off the 8th inning. Twins lose this game, they'll be 2 games behind at least one team in the wild card chase. Hicks, a walk in the 3rd, lined out to left in the 5th. Squaring to bunt, taking a strike at the knees.
Now Twins have seen a lot of Shaw, a guy that throws across his body, good fastball in the low 90s, big hard breaking ball, and a changeup.
Off the plate, 1-1. Hicks, Suzuki, and Escobar. Plenty of bench players. In fact, Danny Santana is in the on-deck circle as we speak. Inside, 2-1.
Shaw's walked 18 batters, 1 intentional in the 62 2/3 innings. So he's usually pretty good at throwing strikes.
Three and 1. The Twins will make a change. Santana will hit for Suzuki, and then Escobar scheduled to hit 3rd this inning. And a strike. Full count.
Yeah, Shaw pitched here on Monday night, 1 shutout inning. He pitched the 9th inning. Retired the Twins in order with a strikeout.
Grounded to short. Cut off by Urshela, and he throws, and a collision at first. Hicks is tagged out, 1 away.
Yeah, nice play by Urshela. He had to cut across Lindor. And then an off-balance throw, still had something on it. It was up the line a little bit, but Santana catching it and tagging Hicks before Aaron can touch the bag. Urshela cutting across. And then Santana making collision contact with Hicks. Tags him out. So a nice defensive play by the Indians.
Danny Santana will hit for Suzuki. Santana, as a pinch hitter, is 0 for 10 this year. Twins hoping to get him on base and then utilize his speed. Twins have Kenny Vargas, but he's just 1 for 10 as a pinch hitter. Most effective pinch hitter this year for the Twins has been Shane Robinson, 3 for 5. Santana bluffs a bunt. Ball 1. Suzuki gone 0 for 2, bouncing into a double play and striking out. Chop, foul, 1-1. Getting the first lead, but a dramatic 2-run home run by Roberto Perez has given the Indians a late lead. Two and 1. Escobar on deck. Another chopper foul.
Well, it's Danny Santana who started the season at short and then optioned out. September call up. He was hitting well in Rochester. He hit .332 in 35 games.
2 and 2 to Danny Santana. 3 and 2. 256 at bats. Santana has 5 walks. Believe it or not, one of those intentional. And he walked him. Shaw walked Danny Santana with 1 out here in the 8th inning. Just the 6th walk for Santana on the year.
He tried to fastball away, and it stayed away.
And the Twins being given a huge gift here. And now Escobar with 1 out. Santana's speed at first. Escobar with a couple of flies to left.
Santana has 8 stolen bases in 12 attempts. Twins need a base hit in the gap somewhere. Watch Santana go from first to third.
That throw to first surprised both Santanas. Carlos, the first baseman, and Danny, the runner. They both flinched on the throw. Twins have been out hit 6-2, trailing 2-1 on the scoreboard. Pitch is up, ball 1. As you said, Shaw pretty good at throwing strikes and not walking people. That's just the 19th walk he's given up in over 60 innings. Twins trying to capitalize. Lynn Perkins warming up for the bottom of the 8th. On the outside corner, 1-1. Santana goes. The pitch grounded down the left field line. Santana rounding second. On his way to third. He'll be waved in. Escobar with a double, and the Twins have tied it up. One of the biggest doubles of the year from a guy who's gotten plenty. His 31st of the year, and the game is tied.
Kind of an inside-out swing right there with Danny Santana taking off. So the walk comes back and haunts the Indians. Escobar picking up his 58th RBI of the year on his the 31st double.
He hasn't got too many of them down that way as a left-handed batter.
Just kind of, breaking ball up, a little spinner it looked like. And he hit it in the right spot if you're a Twins fan, right down that left field line. By the time that Martinez could get to this ball, the speed of Danny Santana scores from first base.
And now Dozier with Escobar at second, strike one. What a great time for Dozier to get his first hit of this series. He has struck out once and bounced to short twice. One out and the go-ahead run at second. Nice stop by Perez.
Very nice stop.
Wow. That ball landed in the left-handed batter's box, and Perez absolutely deadened it.
Now watch where this ball lands, and Perez just moving over and deadening the ball, and that keeps Escobar at second base. Nice defensive play. Plays that are overlooked so many times throughout a ball game.
And that one rolls past Perez and is actually stopped by Brian Onora. And Escobar did the right thing by staying put. That ball was headed to the grass. And nothing Onora could do about it, but it ended up hitting his left leg, it looked like.
Well, he had a chance to knock it down. You can see right there. Ball wasn't going to get too far away, but Escobar staying at second.
Two of them in the dirt to Dozier. 2-1. 3-1. Mauer on deck.
Well, both starters getting no decisions. Both starters pitched well.
Three and one to Brian Dozier. And a strike.
And Shaw going to that hard cutter.
Escobar the go-ahead run at second base. Roller to the right side, and Dozier will beat the pitcher to first base, an infield hit. Dozier didn't get much behind it, but he got an opposite field single. First and third, one away.
And right off the end of the bat, and Santana, the first baseman, really went a long way to get this ball, and it's Shaw, you can see, hesitate right there. And that little bit of hesitation allowed Brian Dozier to beat him to the bag.
I tell you, Shaw did a nice job getting that one-hop throw near the bag. That ball could have kicked away from him. Escobar could have scored. A quick trip to the mound by Terry Francona with the Twins. Getting the game tied now, threatening to take the lead against Shaw. Dozier getting just his 15th hit this year to the opposite field. 14th hit. That's updated with the infield hit here in the 8th inning. We'll take a break with a pitching change for the Indians, and the Twins threatening to retake the lead. Hitless as a pinch hitter, Danny Santana drew just his 6th walk of the season and then scored on Escobar's opposite field double. Now Dozier's delivered an opposite field single. The Twins are threatening to retake the lead. And the Indian closer comes into the ball game with runners at first and third and 1 down.
Terry Francona brought him in for one reason. You can see down here 65 2/3 innings. He has 97 strikeouts. And that's what he's looking for, Terry Francona, but the batter is Joe Mauer.
Mauer will hit here. Sano on deck, but the big battle here will be between Mauer and Allen.
Now Joe Mauer against Allen, 1 hit in 2 at-bats with a couple walks.
Indians infield playing back at double play depth. Mauer with a double and 3 trips. Inside, ball 1.
Allen with a good fastball in the mid-90s. Hard curveball. That's his strikeout pitch. He tries to get ahead with the fastball. Strike you out on the hard curveball.
Another important number you might have seen there. Just 2 home runs allowed in 65 2/3 innings. 1-0 to Mauer. Over the inside corner.
What the Twins need here is just a good solid contact at bat for Joe Mauer. Outfield not playing too deep for Joe. And I saw Almonte out in center. Chisenhall out in right, kind of loosening up their arms in case a ball is hit their way.
Mauer 5 sacrifice flies. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
There's that hard breaking ball right there. It's a tight curveball.
Mauer put the ball in play all 3 times today, but for the first time in his career, he struck out more than 100 times. 109 on the season. 1-2. Ground ball towards second. Kipnis to short. Lindor to Santana. And it's an inning-ending double play. And the Twins get 1, but fail to get a second run. It's tied at 2. The complexion of that Kansas City series would change so much if the Twins could win this ball game here. A chance to take the lead, but then this.
Well, I'm talking about strikeout. I didn't think that Jones was going to hit into a double play, but he did. Nice turn between Ramirez and Lindor to get him out of that inning. But the Twins did tie the game at 2 apiece, and Allen very happy at that. Why wouldn't he be?
Jose Ramirez will face Glenn Perkins to start the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be Ramirez, Lindor, and Kipnis.
Yeah, Perk making his 59th relief appearance. He did work on here in Monday. 1 shutout inning, had a couple strikeouts.
Popped up a foul ball that'll reach the seats. Mays had some back issues, and he pitched the finish of the 7th inning. Perkins has had some back issues. Here's Herman catching. Up high, 2-1. Check swing, 3-1.
Well, this is a guy that we've already said this. Oh, this is the 4th game. You don't want this guy. You don't want to walk him. Yeah, he hit the home run yesterday. The guy's hitting 200 as a right-handed hitter.
And Perkins with a fastball in the outside corner, 3-2.
Swing to bat. Perk's done a good job. He has 9 walks in 55 2/3 innings. One of those intentional.
Full count. And a foul ball. So important to get this guy and the next guy and the next guy, because Carlos Santana's owned Glenn Perkins. He'd hit 4th this inning. Popped up right side. Torrey Hunter adjusting for the win, comes in, 1 down. And that'll bring up Lindor.
Lindor now will hit as a right-handed hitter, where he's hitting .336.
A double last time he faced Perkins, 1 for 2. And a strike that covers the inside corner. One strike to Lindor. Squaring to bunt, jumping out of the way. 1-1. Twins pretty much a no doubles defense, at least on the left side. Plouffe about 5 feet off the line, and the left fielder Rosario playing way back near the warning track.
Yeah, Lindor has 2 home runs already in this series. 1 on Monday, and then last night in game 2.
2-1, and Perkins falls behind Lindor.
And both those home runs coming off left-handers, Malone and Dunsing.
Two and 1. 3-1. Perkins, who nearly walked Ramirez, now has a 3-ball count on Lindor.
If you're going to throw a fastball, you have to keep it away right here. Lindor likes to open up quickly.
Kipnis, a left-handed batter on deck.
Already with a little bit of an open stance.
And Plouffe is able to catch that foul ball because of his proximity to the line. 3-2. Lane Boyer getting loose. Might be getting loose for Santana if the inning gets that far. Another chopper foul.
Yeah, Perk went with a breaking ball right there, and Lindor got enough of it to foul it off.
Another 3-2. On the ground, Escobar scoops. Fires 2 down. And before Kipnis is at bat, let's get caught up. This 2-2 game.
Yeah, the Twins put the first run on the board. That coming in the 4th inning. Mauer double with 1 out, and then a 2-out double by Trevor Plouffe made it a 1-0 ball game. Tyler Duffy went into the 7th inning, pitched 6 shutout innings, and then made one mistake, a 3-1 pitch to Roberto Perez, and he hit the 2-run home run. Indians took a 2-1 lead, but Eduardo Escobar driving in Danny Santana, who had walked against Shaw, tied the game at 2 apiece.
Fastball up and in, ball 1. Kipnis couple of hits and 8 at bats against Perkins. On the ground, right to Dozier. Perkins gets all 3 men in the 8th inning, and we head to the 9th, tied at 2. Sano will lead off the top of the 9th. Take a look at what's next. Brought to you by CenturyLink. Opening game of the Royals series tomorrow. Chris Young, who was outstanding earlier this year against the Twins, and in his last start will face Irvin Santana.
Yeah, Santana's been lights out. He's got 6 quality starts in a row, so hopefully he is on against his former team that he pitched for a couple years ago.
Allen still in the game. He got a big double play grounder off the bat of Mauer. He'll face Sano, Plouffe, and Rosario. You think of Sano and you think of the possibility of the home run, but then you have to remember that Allen's only given up 2 all year long. 0 for 3 in tonight's game. Ball 1. Sano, great value as a hitter because of his ability to take walks. Twins took advantage of an odd walk in the 8th inning to get the game tied. Up and in, 2-0. .50 walks on the season for Sano in 77 games.
Well, if it's around the plate here, he's going to be swinging.
A drive to center in the ballpark.
Yep, just got underneath it.
And Almonte comes in to make the catch. 1 down.
He got the fastball, but it was down a little bit and just got underneath it.
I think we've said a time or two this year, Allen's really good at what he does. He got a huge double play to get the Indians out of the 8th inning, and he fell behind a dangerous hitter but put his fastball in a really good spot. Here's Plouffe. He's reached all 3 times. 2 walks and an RBI double to center field. Down and in, ball 1. Fouled back. And it's 1-1. Twins in the 8th inning got 2 hits. A couple of opposite field hits. Over the course of this season, we've seen Trevor do a really good job of using the whole field. In fact, the center fielder Almonte is playing him a little over in right center. Up and in, 2-1.
Yeah, I think one thing Cleveland's not going to fool around with, I think, during the wintertime is their starting staff and their bullpen. They got some good arms out there. Second in the American League as far as combined earned run average as a club, just behind the Houston Astros, and the bullpen second behind the Kansas City Royals.
Fouled back, and it's 2-2.
They might add a couple pieces out in that bullpen, but all in all, the bullpen has done a great job for the Indians.
They could use some left-handed relief help. We don't see many lefties come out of the pen. They have 2 of them out there, but not in key situations. They're not typically used. 2-2 to Plouffe. 1 gone, top of the 9th. High chopper over the mound, and Ramirez fires to first, and Santana can't handle it. Plouffe will reach with Ramirez short hopping the first baseman.
Yeah, 4th time that Trevor Plouffe has been able to get to first base. And Ramirez trying to hurry his throw, threw it into the ground, and Santana tried to pick it, but the ball kind of rolled up on him right there and got behind him. And Plouffe at first, should be an error on Ramirez.
Eduardo Nunez will run and then take over at third base. Twins have plenty of speed on the bench, including Byron Buxton, but Nunez runs well and can play third base. Here is Rosario. Go back to that play in the 4th inning. The Twins had just taken a 1-0 lead on the Plouffe double, and then Rosario hit a smash that Santana was able to get enough of to retire Rosario and end the inning. Otherwise, the Twins would have had 2 runs that inning. And Nunez checked at first. Twins with a hit and run in the 8th inning to tie the game. Santana took off, and Escobar grounded a double down the left field line to tie the game at 2.
Nunez 8 stolen bases in 12 attempts.
Up and away, ball 1. Texas batting bottom of the 5th, down to the Angels 1-0. And driven foul down the left field line, 1-1. Difference between a win and a loss for the Twins huge. A win and they're a game behind at least one team with 3 to play, and a loss drops them 2 games back. One and 1 to the rookie. Rosario looking for his first hit of the night.
Yeah, Rosario with 18 doubles, 15 triples, 13 home runs, a lot of extra base hits.
Drive to right center field. It's down for a hit. Nunez will round second, head to third. Chisenhall's throw is not in time. It hits Nunez and runs toward home plate. That will allow Rosario to take second base. Rosario got his first hit in a key spot, sending Nunez to third.
Well, that's why Trevor Plouffe was pinch run for right there. The speed of Nunez. He kind of got to second base and saw that Chisenhall was just getting to the ball and then scooted over to third. The ball may have hit Nunez in the back of his head. Now, where did he lose his helmet? That's my question. See, Nunez went off a couple of it, and right there, okay, he slowed down. Okay, I can make it to third. There goes his helmet, and the ball hit his back of his head. Right off the noggin, and the pitcher Allen backing up, so Nunez stays at third base.
So another great chance for the Twins to retake the lead. Second and third, one out. Hunter at the plate. Mickey Callaway will talk to his pitcher and all the infielders, the catcher. Aaron Hicks will hit behind Hunter. Remembering that the Indians in this situation have a base open. Well, Rosario with a big base hit to right field, and Nunez scampering to third. Opening up a great chance for the Twins to take a late inning lead.
And Torrey Hunter against Allen over their meetings coming into this series. 1 hit and 9 at bats, and that being a double. He has struck out 4 times against Allen.
Perez gets down into a crouch.
And they're going to go ahead and pitch to him.
Hunter looking for his first hit tonight. He has absolutely wrecked the Indians pitching staff here at Progressive Field. Ball 1. Now that Perez went down into a crouch doesn't mean that Hunter will get a strike to hit.
Right.
And the 3 series here against the Indians, Torrey's come up big. A lot of extra base hits, including a 3-run double 2 nights ago. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
And I think he'll get a bunch of breaking balls right here. If Allen falls behind, say 3-1, they may walk Torrey Hunter. Torrey swinging at a breaking ball out of the strike zone.
Infield is in, of course.
Just take that ball to right field as you do so well, Torrey.
Jacked his swing, 2-1. Another breaking ball.
3 straight breaking balls. Don't walk them, but don't give them anything too good to hit. It was probably the message.
And they pay people to say that, right?
Yes, they do. I have many a pitching coach tell me that. What do you mean?
2-1 to Hunter.
Just a big pitch right here. Oh,
grounded foul.
He got the fastball. A little tardy on there.
2-2 to Hunter. Bounced into a double play in the second. A fly ball to right. Pop up to second.
And Perez walking out to Allen. See exactly what Allen wants to do here. You would think he would stay with that breaking ball.
80 runs batted in on the season for Hunter, trying to drive in his biggest run of the season. Foul back.
He tried to sneak the fastball by him, but Torrey fouled it off. I mean, that fastball in the mid-90s, Torrey still very quick as far as his wrist and his action toward the ball.
Another 2-2 to Hunter.
Perez sitting away.
That gets away from the catcher. Here comes Nunez, and the Twins take the lead. A 55-footer from Allen, and the Twins lead 3-2.
Well, we saw Perez make a couple nice plays with Bauer out there knocking him down, but this one, With the spin of the ball, it just looked like it hit off his chest protector and then ricocheted over toward the Indians dugout. And by the time that Perez could get it, Nunez got a good lead and scores the go-ahead run. And on the play, Rosario goes over to third. So a wild pitch charged to Allen.
Been a bad inning for the Indians. The base running started with an error charged to Ramirez. There should be an error charged to Chisenhall on the throw that hit Nunez, because that allowed Rosario to go to second base. Jepson, he'll have a lead of at least one. Infield still in, 3-2 to Hunter. A fly to right.
Perfect.
Back near the warning track. Hunter will get it done. Scampering home is Rosario, and the Twins have a 2-run lead.
Well, I said Torrey Hunter hit it to right field as you do so well, and he got a pitch up and picked up the sacrifice fly. His 81st run batted in, and the Twins lead 4-2.
Big at bat for the 40-year-old veteran. And now Hicks comes up with 2 down, and the base is empty. Outside, ball 1. Hicks with a walk in the 3rd. He lined to left in the 5th, hit a ground ball to 3rd in the 8th. Twins getting a run against Shaw in the 8th and 2 runs here in the 9th against Allen.
Well, you take advantage of that extra out. Trevor Plouffe getting on an error. Then the base hit by Rosario, and Nunez, who had pinched run for Plouffe, hustled to third, and then the ball got thrown away. The wild pitch, the sacrifice fly.
Flipped foul. Boy, that first to third business is so important. And we've talked every time we play the Angels how usually they're about the best in the game at going from first to third, and that's, you know, been a point of emphasis for the first-year manager with the Twins. That was part of his game when he played.
Oh, yeah. You know, and that's why, again, he ran Nunez for Plouffe for maybe that potential purpose, and it happened.
3-1 now to Hicks with Herman on deck.
Done a great job as a manager the first year.
Trying to get win number 83 on the year. Meanwhile, the Rangers have just tied the Angels. High fly center field. Almonte should have it covered. Couple of unearned runs for the Twins. It doesn't matter at this point. They've got a 4-2 lead. Kevin Jepson will try to save it when we come back. Pretty important couple minutes for the Twins. They score 2 here while the Rangers take the lead on the Angels. And if the Twins win here is combined with an Angels loss, then the Angels will drop back behind the Twins in the standings. There's the defensive substitutions for the Twins, with Buxton taking over in center and Hicks moving over to right. And Kevin Jepsen on the mound.
Yeah, Kevin Jepsen making his 28th relief appearance with the Twins, his 74th overall. He has 9 saves for the Twins. Had 5 with the Rays before he became a Twin back in late July.
And just to clarify, the Angels would drop back into a tie with the Twins, not behind the Twins, but both teams would be a game behind the idle Astros. Santana, Chisenhall, and Almonte to face Jepsen in the 9th.
Yeah, Jepsen picked up his 9th save as a Twin here on Monday night. A 1-2-3 inning. Twins 4-2 win.
Santana takes a strike at the knees.
Yeah, Jepsen's worked 26 innings for the Twins. He's given up only 16 hits, 7 walks, 23 strikeouts.
That second run so important because of what it means for Jepsen as he pitches through the middle of this Cleveland lineup. Foul back, 2 strikes. Santana, despite a poor batting average, still a potent power threat with 18 home runs.
Yeah, 15 from this side of the plate.
But Hunter's sacrifice fly doubling the Twins' lead. 0-2 from Jepsen to Santana. Twins don't have to be in the no doubles defense because of the 2-run lead. That landed 5 feet in front of the plate, blocked by Herman. Got him. 1 down.
Reared back and challenged him with a fastball at 95 and picks up a strikeout. He's kind of going up the ladder a little bit here. Just above the belt. Santana with that big powerful swing. Swings through it.
Chisenhall, a single, a walk, and a strikeout. He was the last man. Duffy retired the first out of the 7th inning. Then Almonte singled. Perez hit the home run. That could have been a backbreaker for the Twins. Instead, the Twins have scored 3 since the Perez home run.
Got away to love the way the offense came right back.
Chisenhall takes ball 1.
Because they were doing nothing against Trevor Bauer. He pitched the first 7 innings, only gave up 2 hits and a run. To their damage against Shaw and Allen, 2 of the best relievers the Indians have.
And up high, 2-0. Fly ball, short left field, retreating Escobar. 2 away. And that'll leave it to Almonte. Escobar with maybe the biggest double he or any other Twin has hit this year. The game-tying double in the 8th inning. Trying to go to 12-7 in the season series against the Indians. More importantly, pulling to within a game of the Houston Astros with 3 to play. swing and a miss. Threw him an off-speed pitch.
Good changeup right there. I think everybody knew going into the ball game this was a must-win for the Twins, and they have responded nicely.
Nunez in at third for Plouffe. A bunt, and Mauer and Jepson get a little confused. It was an I got it, you take it situation, and a 2-out bunt for Almonte will get Perez to the plate as the tying run.
Yeah, sometimes that little drag bunt right there, I mean, that was past the pitcher Jepson. He wasn't going to catch up to it. Plus, I don't think he was going to beat Almonte to the base. So just kind of taking the ball with him.
That was a perfect spot for a bunt.
Oh, outstanding bunt.
Was a little hesitation by Mauer, but I don't think that came into play at all. I mean, Almonte was going to beat that out. And here is Perez. Cracked a 2-run home run to center his last time up. And he comes up as Cleveland's last hope in the ninth. Twins don't care about Almonte. Mauer will play behind the runner. He can steal second, third, and home if he'd like.
On the 7th inning, Tyler Duffy fell behind 3-1, came in with a fastball, and Perez hit it over the center field wall.
Strike one at 94 miles per hour. Oh, 0-1 to Perez. Fouled away, 2 strikes with Almonte taking off for second. He'll come back to first. To Perez. Got him on the outside corner, and the Twins win a huge game in Cleveland.
Well, Jepson gets the save, Perkins gets the win, but what a comeback by the Twins. They needed this win, and they got it.
They are now 1 game behind Houston. They may be 1 game behind the Angels, but this is one they had to have, and they got it. Anthony LaPanta, the Twins, won the series in Detroit, and with this win tonight, they won the series in Cleveland.